Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
Keith from Haddonfield called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline, and he has a weed taking over an area where he's seeded in the fall. We'll tell you what it is and explain what Teak needs to do in our first segment.
Every year, John from Whippany, New Jersey, battles wild onion in his garden and landscape beds. John texted us on the hotline, and we have a solution in our second segment.
Pam also called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked about an old practice for her roses. In our third segment, Julio and I will tell you what that is and how you can have beautiful roses too.
Paul is a listener from Westfield, New Jersey, and a few weeks back, he asked about mealybugs on his houseplants. He sent us a thank you text to the hotline and shared with us how Bloomers in the Garden is becoming a family program. We'll explain at our fourth segment.
Last but not least, it's time to bring back What's Bugging You? This week, those tiny little ants are bugging me, and we'll tell you how to repel those home invaders during our final segment.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food plus systemic insecticide 915-3 contains 5 micronutrients which are designed for azaleas and evergreens to provide the proper nutrients and producing stunning green leaves and essential new growth while protecting the plant from damaging insects for up to 8 weeks. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food contains 9% nitrogen for green growth, building bigger stems and leaves, 15% phosphorus for root growth and increased flower production, 13% potash to promote vigorous growth so plants are better able to resist disease and cold. The micronutrients are the icing on the cake to enhance further growth, strengthen, and beautify color. Tired of seeing your plants prematurely drop their leaves, the flowers disappear? Fertilum's Azalea Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 contains an easy-to-apply insecticide that keeps your azaleas and evergreens looking great all year long. Those hungry insects do not have a chance. Apply in spring before buds sprout and continue throughout the season as indicated on the label growing guide. Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 with micronutrients is a must for the passionate azalea and evergreen grower to help produce that beautiful abundance of color and fantastic fragrance everyone will love. So next time you visit your favorite garden center, pick up Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic and expect to have the best looking shrubs in the neighborhood. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, Keith from Haddonfield seeded a section of his lawn this past fall, and now he has a weed that's taking over that section right where he seeded, and he called Bloomers in the Garden hotline asking for some help. Here, listen to his call.
Hi, Len. My name is Keith from Haddonfield. I just texted you a few pictures. It's about 10 of 10 on Saturday morning. I know I'm listening to you on WTMR. I planted some grass in the fall in some bare spots under some tall trees. And this happened again last year. And this weed takes over, and I took a picture of a couple of spots where the weed has sprung up. And it looks like little tiny clover, but it's really densely packed. And I'm wondering how to get rid of it without harming the new grass. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, yeah.
Julio, you talked with Keith, right?
Yes, I did.
He has chickweed.
Yes, he does.
He has chickweed. The key is that little white flower. Yeah. And there are two types of chickweed. There's the common chickweed in it. And it's actually kind of pretty, as a ground. If I put it in a pot and I said, "Hey, this is a ground cover," you can put in. But it's kind of like it's not a reliable perennial, but it'll drop its seed and then resprout. So then it's kind of like an annual, and it likes to be in wet areas. So underneath those trees, a little bit of shade. But again, those trees were deciduous, so he doesn't really have anything going on there.
No,
but
they were oaks, by the way.
They were oaks that he had?
Mm-hmm.
Was it in a low spot?
He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell you?
No.
So tell me about your conversation.
No, he said, this lawn we're talking about is that strip that is, you have the sidewalk and then you have that strip, that small strip in the front of the sidewalk.
Between the sidewalk and the curb?
That's right.
Okay.
And that's about an 8-foot section in his section.
Okay, that's pretty big.
It's pretty big, yeah. That's where his oak was.
Okay.
And like I said, he put down seed, and so now all the chickweeds, coming around it.
Now the big question is, did the seed come up? What did you think of those pictures?
It didn't look like much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he was supposed to come in last week, and I don't know what happened. I didn't see him. He said he'd see me, but I don't know what happened. But
well, we've got experience. I mean, Sandy was there.
Yeah, Sandy was there, yeah.
But,
I don't know if he
regardless, that he has an issue because he can't spray what he needs to, and that's chickweed, clover, and oxalis. Clover and oxalis are almost, if you put them side by side, they're type clover, okay? Different botanicals, but still. That will control it. 2 applications are probably required, but the issue is he won't be able to grow grass seed for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Now, that's not necessarily a problem because he'll have the late spring, early summer to be putting seed down, and seed will germinate in the summer. You just have to make sure that you give it water.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So he has chickweed, and chickweed, there's a smooth leaf variety, which is a common chickweed, where that's the one that I was saying looks pretty.
Yeah.
And then there's the mouse-eared chickweed, where it sounds like cute name. Mouse. Do you have any mouse-eared chickweed? We just sold out. Yeah. But mouse-eared chickweed, it's got a little fuzzy leaf to it. The name is better than the plant, and that where it's again, it's going to be a little different to control. Anytime you have a fuzzy leaf, you have to make sure that when you're spraying a problem. Again, this is not a situation where you're going to use a weed and feed granule or something like that. It's just not going to work well. You need to use a liquid, and that could be in the form of a concentrate that you put into a hose and sprayer, or the spray where it's like a ready-to-use Windex bottle that is, again, it has to be labeled for chickweed and clover. Some of the other weed products, like, for instance, I would not use like a weed begone or weed beater or common thing. I would use something specifically labeled with chickweed and clover on the actual label itself, in the name.
Right.
Those other products may say that it will control it, but you want something that's actually targeted for it. The products and the active ingredients are just a slightly bit different and geared to control that chickweed. I have chickweed too.
Do you?
And a lot of times it's in the shade. and that where it just drives me crazy. It's well, this time of the year, if you look outside and you see pretty white flowers growing, it's chickweed, and it will take over and it will basically crowd out your grass, and then all of a sudden you end up with nothing.
Right.
You have no grass.
Yeah.
So
So we always talk about science, Len, and specific, like you said, that is specific for that. And it's a science. They've come down to it, and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do for that specific plant.
That's right.
Weed, I should say.
That's right.
And so that's that you're going to get the knowledge only in garden centers. You're not going to go into a Lowe's where they're going to say, oh well,
We were talking about that last time about endangering our lives by criticizing large box
But that's
stores.
true. When you walk in, there's like nobody around.
Yeah, but again, local, like Julio was saying, basically local garden center is where you'll get the information, be successful, and therefore you go back.
That's right.
You go back. Again, chickweed is the problem. It's fairly easy to control. Just make sure that you're using a chickweed product. You're going to spray it, and that you're going to wait for it to become dry, and then it's safe to walk on. It's safe to let the pets out and things. And then it will slowly control. But it's coming up from a seed, so there may be more seed that you don't see germinated yet. So you're going to have to spray again. It's not like a crabgrass preventer where it prevents seed from germinating. This is coming up, and that it doesn't. A crabgrass preventer won't control it. You have to kill it as it grows. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Sounded confusing coming out of my mouth.
No, it's like you said. There's going to be germination later on, and you're going to have to go again over it.
Yeah, and it's again soil temperature.
That's right.
It's coming up now because
Right.
it likes a cooler soil temperature. So this isn't something you're going to have to battle all the way into June.
No.
We're talking a couple of applications.
Yeah,
probably anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks apart, and it's a contact issue. If your lawn is big and thick and healthy, generally you don't have chickweed growing in the middle of it.
Right.
So you can even spot seed in certain cases. So you don't necessarily have to do the entire lawn. But the good thing is the chickweed and clover killer will control dandelions, ground ivy, and other types of tough weeds. So you can get control on other weeds, and it doesn't kill your grass. And that's why, did his grass seed grow? If his grass seed has grown and he's cut it at least twice, you can put this on it without fear of killing it. If it has not germinated, there's a problem. And that, we had our first training meeting with our staff last night. We were talking about how you want to get something that grows fast, gives you something to take care of. So you want to blend that is maybe a little bit of rye, a little bit of fescue, and a small amount of bluegrass, that it gives you something to take care of. But the pictures that I saw that you showed me,
no,
they didn't look like there are any grass.
there isn't grass. Yeah,
and I think it's a shady, wet area.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows? It's an oak tree there, so there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
Probably.
So right, could be dry shade.
Dry shade, yeah.
But from what I saw, maybe it was after a rain. So Keith, look, you can seed. You can seed, but you're going to have to do it later in the late spring, early summer. So you're just going to have to hold on a bit. All right.
Sure.
Anything to add, Hul?
No, I think we hit all the major areas there, huh?
All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers: Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, PA; Ashcombs Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, PA; Sickles, Little Silver, New Jersey. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Wild onion grows in the lawn or cultivated areas like the landscape or garden. It looks like someone who has a bad haircut and has cowlicks sticking up. Right, green cowlicks. That's right. You heard it here, folks. John texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked about how to get rid of them. Here's his text.
Hey guys, my flower and shrub and vegetable gardens are overcome by onion grass. I tried to dig it up, but there are too many bulbs left behind. Any solutions to eradicate the problem? I listen to your show every Sunday morning. Thanks so much. John from Whippany, New Jersey.
Whippany, New Jersey.
Yeah, we know where Whippany is. Well, you don't.
No,
you don't know where Whippany, but Aaron and I know where Whippany is.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow, onion grass.
Oh, God.
You know, I was going to talk about alfalfa from our gang. You know.
Oh, yeah.
you have to know. You're at that age. All right.
Sure.
Those of you that remember, call the hotline and let us know. We know what you're talking about, Len. We know.
Yeah.
Alfalfa always had that like tuft of hairs sticking up.
right,
But how come he got all the girls? I never understood that.
Who knows that?
Anyway.
I wonder what he used for that.
He tried to hammer a few times to keep it down. All right, Julio. My friend who has zoysia grass.
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry. We're going to have an encounter one day.
I know.
We're going to bring you in and we're going to have a sit down. But like your lawn will have onion grass grown in it, right?
Yes, it does.
Does it have it now?
It does have it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So John has got
Same kind of thing.
You understand. And that what it looks like is that it grows faster than any of the grass, and it
does.
It looks like onions because they basically are wild onions and sometimes called wild garlic.
Yep. What
a pain.
It smells like onion.
It smells absolutely. You pull it out and you can't even use it like to put on something like a baked potato. Don't try that at home. It's not chives, okay? And it is nasty.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like he said, it's a bulb. It's just like when you plant onion sets. This is a little different, but it's the same idea. The bulb's in the ground, and you try to pull it up, and you get all tops, and it just grows thicker. So You've got to do something, and that actually, it's pretty easy to control. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the lawn first. The lawn you can use, believe it or not, Julio's holding the product that I'm not going to mention, poison ivy and oak killer from Bonine. Mm-hmm. And that's a ready-to-use spray where you can just spray each one. And this is in the lawn, not where your vegetables are grown. And I wouldn't put it in your landscape. That will control it and kill it. But you have to make sure that when you spray it, it dries on. Now, Julio grabbed Weed Beater Ultra. That's another lawn product. Has a very wide label that you can use it when it's cold, 40 degrees or higher.
Beautiful.
And it is another great product. You want a liquid. No granular weed and feed, okay? Yeah. No granular weed and feed. And in a few weeks, we'll explain why we just aren't a fan.
Of that.
Liquids are more accurate. They just do a better job than getting a weed and feed. It may sound easier, may sound better, but unless there's a big surface area for those granules of weed control to sit there and start working, it's not doing anything. Yeah. So it might as well just be a feed, not a weed and feed. Okay. I've got a feed.
You got a feed?
And feed. The other stuff doesn't do anything, but I've got a and feed. So, and again, you've got to hit it just right for a granular to work, where a liquid coats and will completely cover that weed with an herbicide to control it. All right. So we talked enough about lawns. Julio,
yes,
I've got a garden.
Yes, you do.
I eat things from there.
Oh, my goodness.
And what things should I spray to get rid of my onions in my garden?
Okay, you can use a product by High Yield.
Yeah, that again, this is glyphosate.
Glyphosate, yeah. But it's going to be non-selective, okay?
Right, it'll kill everything.
Everything.
And you can use this in the landscape as well.
Yes, you can.
It is not organic.
No.
It is not organic. Organic weed controls are going to just basically kill the tops, but then they're going to grow back. Yeah. So it doesn't go down to the root. But
this one,
glyphosate, and yes, you hear it on the news as Roundup, and it's like, Roundup, have you had Parkinson's? Whatever. It's like the lawyers have gotten a hold of it. But honestly, it's very safe when used correctly. I've talked to about the lawsuits and everything, and it's basically people that were applying it incorrectly. I think there was one part of the lawsuit. There was a guy who had a hole in his sprayer, and every time he would go and put this backpack sprayer on, it was leaking down his back.
Oh, no wonder.
Wow. Some of the cases have gotten thrown out, and that's probably one of them. But again, glyphosate on a spot treatment in your garden. Okay, think of this, and this is how safe it is. If you went and applied glyphosate or Roundup, and then the product that we have in our hand is called Killzall. And that is a weed and grass killer. It's glyphosate. It's Roundup. It's it's a less expensive than the name brand, and it will cover a lot more. This product, and if you're looking on YouTube, please subscribe, ring our bell, and that again, it's what we use in the garden center to control weeds. And that we spray and actively use this around all of our nursery plants and everywhere. And that you can spray this and reseed in a week.
Wow.
So it's not that it's staying in the soil. The other products that we were talking about that you can spray with your lawn, you can't seed for, over a month to 6 weeks, where glyphosate and Roundup, and again, we're talking about the concentrate of Killzall, or the ready to spray. It's basically going to do the same thing, where it'll do its job, and then in a week later you can go and seed. So to me, it's about as safe as it comes. But like I said, the lawyers got a hold of it.
Oh, yeah.
So again, that's what I would spray. I know that it's not organic, okay? John, you said you struggled with having to pull up so many of the bulbs and not getting them.
Okay.
And if you're an organic gardener, you
Dig.
got it. You got the other products are just going to kill the tops, and they're not going to work.
Yeah.
I, again, go back to glyphosate, that's the product to use. On our training meet, I said, what did I say? When it comes to organic gardening, I'm an agnostic.
Agnostic.
So I believe in organic gardening, but not all the time.
Right.
Because I think that there's products that can come in that you need, and that we have people that are organic gardeners that are believers, and that until they can't get rid of a product, and then they go off and they do some like Godfather thing. I want it dead. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I just want it dead, because the frustration level sometimes with organic gardening can be rough. So. You can be a part-time organic gardener.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I give you permission. You give you permission. But if for those of you that are all organic, God bless you. It is more work, but again, there are ways to be organic most of the time. But there are some times, like with these wild onions.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You know,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean. You did or did not talk to John?
No, I didn't.
That's because he's from North Jersey, isn't it?
No.
Just because you're born and raised in South Jersey,
Yeah.
John, I will make sure that he calls you today.
I'll call him today.
Anyway, anything to add, Julio?
Yeah, I was talking about when I was sick, I was using my essential oils, and you said to me, Julio, you better take something more powerful.
That's right. That's right.
And when it becomes a chronic problem, you're right.
And it's sometimes you just
you got it.
You need a little bit.
Yeah, a little
extra more.
That's right.
When I was recently that we went on a trade show, and it was like we're on our feet for the entire day, walking these showrooms and seeing stuff, and just like my feet, everything hurt.
Yeah,
everything hurt.
You showed me that picture.
Oh my God, everything hurt, and so. I said, all right, do you have any Advil? I'm going to take Advil.
Right.
And then let's just say the Advil took the edge off, but the muscle relaxer did the job.
Right.
Anyway, so sometimes you got to go that route. You got to go, like you said, from essential oils to something a little stronger.
That's right.
So, but anyway, John, I hope that helps. Sometimes there are weeds that just are tough. And that in the lawn, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to control. But when you've got to choose in the garden where you want to spot spray, especially like where you're growing food that you're going to eat, you want to just not over apply. All right. Is that it?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. We'll be right back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Do you think you have insects eating away your nice, beautiful lawn? Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below is the product for you. Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below not only controls chinch bugs, which is a surface-feeding insect, but also controls grubs, which is a subsurface feeding insect. It does it all, guaranteed. When most homeowners see their lawn turning brown in the summer, they think grubs. Damage from the larva, a Japanese beetle. But in many cases, it could be chinch bugs. Chinch bugs are hard to see because they are so small and you'd need to get down on your hands and knees to see them. If you misdiagnose your problem, Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below has you covered. The product will control both chinch bugs and grubs. This summer, control your pest problems with Fertilum's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below. It also may be used in flower beds, on landscape ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Fertilome's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below will also control crane fly larvae, ants, mole crickets, sod webworms, bill bugs, and many more. Your property will be pest-free with Fertilome's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below. So next time you're visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Bug Blaster Plus Above and Below and expect to have the best-looking lawn and landscape in the neighborhood. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel-Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Pam called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Thank you, Pam. And asked about feeding her roses with Epsom salts. Here, listen to her call.
Yes, good morning. I listen to your show every Saturday under TMR. I had a question about rose bushes. On one of my garden shows, I think I heard, and tell me if this is correct, in March, I guess sort of late March, you could add maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon of Epsom salt to your rose bushes, to the soil, and that'll help the growth as the spring starts. Is that correct? I don't know. My name is Pam. Thanks so much. Hope to hear from you. Bye now.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Epsom salts are a supplement. So
Yeah, they are. It's a mineral. It's a magnesium sulfate, and use that, Pam. Not a problem, and it's beneficial because it's a natural mineral. So you're going to be okay with that if you can. If you want to use it. And so don't be scared about using Epsom salt, all right?
Right.
On your roses.
And if you wonder how much to use, you're going to use a cup of Epsom salts for every 100 square foot. So an area that's 10 by 10, sprinkle a cup through. You could do every plant, but honestly, just figure out the square footage of the bed and just use it that way because everything gets a benefit from it. West Jersey Rose Society. We love the West Jersey Rose Society. If I don't want to give their website out, but there's a ton of information from the West Jersey Rose Society. Just Google them. You'll find them. They are an active group. They recommend Epsom salts in their care of their roses. And what it does is it just gives them, I guess you would consider it like a macronutrient.
Yeah.
Like everything where the 3 numbers are on the bag, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. This is something a little bit different that roses certainly respond to. And it helps green up your plants if they're just not, they've got a little bit of yellow tint to them. Yeah. Now did you talk to Pam?
Yeah, I talked to her.
Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, Pam is from Mount Airy, by the way, and she's a wonderful woman. And she was listening to a program, Are we allowed to say what it was?
Go ahead.
It was Martha Stewart, and he brought in a gentleman who was talking about Epsom salt, by the way.
Yeah.
And so she just wanted to find out, whether or not she could use it, and she can. And
Absolutely on your roses.
So, yeah,
and
not a
you
problem.
can do it on other plants too. But I'd honestly just stick to roses and use the fertilizers. You're not going to over fertilize your plants. So again, you're going to use the regular rose, like rose tone is something we like,
That's
all
what I said to him,
organic. See, I'm back in church, all organic.
That's right.
And where Epsom salt's organic, and that you can use them both together.
Both together, yeah.
You know, it's not gonna
I said
conflict.
to her, use a Spoma rose tone. That'll help you great. It's a slow release organic, and that'll even be better for your plants.
And if you have any left over, you get a hot tub, put some in. It's good for you too.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it is a rose thing, huh?
Anyway, also, you can use it as a spray. I can't say exactly, 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. And it does well because it's one of those that are absorbed a little bit through the leaves and certainly through the roots. But a foliar spray will help it green up. So if you have roses that are in the growing season, you certainly can use that to give them a quick boost.
Wow, pretty awesome.
Yep. So you go to it, Pam.
Yes,
you
you
keep doing the whole Epsom salts thing, and you'll see the roses. And those of you that have roses or that are a little peaked or not quite doing as well as you'd hoped, try Epsom salts.
Yep.
And go ahead, Hol.
I got a little bit of tidbit here.
Yes, let me hear it.
Epsom salt was first identified in mineral spring in Epsom, England.
All right. All right.
So there you go, folks.
Now that's how it got its name.
Yeah, and that's something.
Mineral springs. So like, did people go and soak in it?
Probably did.
Anyway, so it's they probably did, and then sold it. Like, here, bring some home.
Yeah.
You can do this at home. Anyway, so again, Epsom salts for your roses.
There you go,
Yes, a good thing. All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties, from aglaonemas to ZZ plants. Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Paul from Westfield, New Jersey, sent us a very nice text via the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. There you go.
Thank you for the shirt. I learned a lot from your show. I think the mealybugs were the problem with my mandevilla. I told my daughter about your show, and she is a listener. I'm sure you'll be getting questions from her.
Yes.
We love that.
Yeah, we do love
It's
that.
a family affair.
Yes, it is. Eh?
Yeah. We should have prepped TJ to get the family affair song going.
It's a family
Aaron,
affair.
you can sing it probably. Anyway.
Oh, you can.
But I tell you, it's family and friends and the connections that we grow our program. We really appreciate that. And anytime that you're telling your neighbors, we give actual practical advice where you can actually find the products on the shelf. And we don't try to be clever by, the Epsom salts was about as clever as we get. But, but we do talk about how to get rid of things when you don't have to use a product. But we also, again, nothing's worse than being told because you have some interest in a product that you can't find it on the shelf. It's like, and that we give you things that you can find and actually practical knowledge that you can use. And we hope that you folks are listening. We think we are. We appreciate everybody that's out there. Please share with your family and friends, and then tell them to call the hotline. They've got a question. They will get unbiased advice on what they can do.
Right.
And,
is that wonderful?
And I tell you, it's something. How many years have you done this?
Over 4?
I feel older.
Oh, no, you do.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you out there. We do appreciate our audience.
Yes, we do.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Are you looking forward to a spring of vibrancy while using the best organically approved growing media for your annuals and vegetables? Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter has been created to set a diverse culture ideal for germinating seeds and root cuttings. Created using the best ancient composting techniques and new age mixing devices, Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter gently combines kelp meal, worm castings, mycorrhizae, perlite, and sustainably harvested peat moss, establishing the most desirable setting to enhance new plant growth. Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter is available at these local retailers, or visit www.coastofmaine.com to locate one near you.
Barlow's, Seagirt, New Jersey. Espen Shades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Monton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombs Farm and Greenhouse, Mechanicsburg, PA. Wanting to up your game in the vegetable garden? With 90 years of organic gardening experience, the Espoma Company has you covered. Espoma Organic Garden Tone is not your average garden variety fertilizer. Garden Tone is especially blended for organic vegetable gardens. Its all-natural formula contains Biotone, a blend of organic ingredients that supplies essential nutrients for strong, healthy plants and mouth-watering vegetables. Its slow-release formula provides continuous feeding. The Biotone contained in Garden Tone is a combination of organic ingredients and beneficial beneficial microbes to help roots grow deeper and faster for bigger, more bountiful harvests. Garden Tone is simple to use and safe for people, pets, and the planet. No harmful chemicals or synthetic fertilizers are ever added. You can find Garden Tone at fine garden centers. Visit espoma.com to find a retailer near you. Garden Tone from Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I don't know about you, but you know those darn little ants that come in your kitchen? Do you have them yet?
Yeah, I got them.
Oh.
Yeah. I was typing on my computer.
Yeah.
And I got one on my wrist. I got, wait a minute now. It was 2 weeks ago. Right?
On your wrist.
I'm going, oh, no. They're here, folks.
I've got them in the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
I had them on my couch.
On your
I'm
couch?
like, what the heck?
What?
I mean, sometimes, dinner's eating on my couch. But
I know what it was.
But I don't spill anything.
You're right.
Anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
But they're here.
Yeah,
they're here. And that, they've woken up from dormancy. The queen is making babies. I'll tell you. Oh, I can't stand them.
Oh,
and
gosh.
They are a problem. Danielle,
Uh-huh.
son said, hey, do you got any of those ant traps?
Mm-hmm.
He knows what to do.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what to do. He knows where to go for the answers.
Oh, yeah, he does.
And he didn't call the hotline.
No,
I got
he
to talk to him about
hotline.
that. But again, those little ants, that they're scouts. They're going and they're basically looking. It's like, all right, where are we going? And that you can't see it. You can't tell. But they're leaving a pheromone trail to the rest of the nest to say, here, follow me. This is where I've been.
Right.
And they're going and they're sampling things. It's like, oh, that dog food. Nope, cat food. No, hey, he spills coffee here all the time. I've got some sugar. I'm going back to tell Ma. So they go back to the hive. And again, the queen is squeezing out eggs, and like it's just more and more, and that you got to do something.
Right, you do.
There's really two steps, right?
Right.
What did you tell me? You told me about the ant bait, right?
Oh, yeah, the ant base. We have that. We have the Terra.
Yeah, here we go.
The best product I've used so far is
Okay,
Terra.
if you look now, look, this is a plug for YouTube. Get on YouTube. Please subscribe. Ring the bell. Again, like us, and that you can see. I'm holding up right now for those of you on radio. It's called Taro Liquid Ant Bait. Those of you who are looking on YouTube, or those of you that are podcast, hit over to YouTube. You'll see what we're talking about.
I've used them all, and this is the best. Right? Right, Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron agrees.
Aaron agrees.
No question about it.
And like, you don't want to tell people, oh, I've got ants running all around my house, but it happens to the best of us. Again, what it does is the ants are attracted to that, and they think, this is almost as good as the sugar in his coffee. And they take a bit of that, and they bring it back to the hive, and it kills the hive. That's here, and, all right, this is going to be a little gross, but what they do is they basically, how come everybody sees like little mothers when they feed their birds and they puke into their mouths, everything's okay? Like that's what the ants do. Right. They basically are feeding, one ant to the other ant, and they all are getting a little taste of this bait.
That's right.
And guess what? The whole hive dies.
Yeah,
Come and get it. Ring a dinner bell. There's still another thing you need to do. Again, the ant baits work. They absolutely work.
Okay.
And like, all right, Julio, this is for those of you that are, I don't know, can remember Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Bugs Bunny? Like every once in a while they would show like Acme, whatever, and it would be some product that they used to have back then. borax. That was one of those products. Like they have borax,
The big box. The big
even
boxes.
Aaron, he's
Yeah,
he's
you know
like
that
a
one.
kid. It would have a giant borax thing.
Yeah, it was
This is
huge.
borax,
Yeah, it's great.
and that again, what's in the ant bait is borax. It's safe. Your animals, it's safe. You're not gonna. It's not an edible product, but again, it's safe that it's not gonna cause anything more than maybe gastric upset, but it's all protected in this plastic piece that, if you're leaving it out where your animals can get it, they're going to like it. It does not taste good. It's not like it's sweet or anything else, but it's good. Ants like it.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what you want to do. And that's on the inside.
They also have an outdoor version of that. I was explaining to Julio where it's just steaks. It's the same exact formula.
Yeah.
And I had success with putting it around my house at the end of the summer. I should have did it earlier when they first sprouted, but I wasn't really there. So
Yeah, you weren't working with the garden at that point.
right.
But there is also, Julio, you have there's a granular version
right here,
that
yep.
you can use. That's a Thrin. There's a granular version of the bait, and it will say bait on it.
Yeah, it will.
So again, that's something that you want to do. But going back to outside, you want to put down a perimeter granule. Like we just had a commercial for the bug blaster above and below.
Right.
If you put that around the foundation of your house, that will protect
Protection.
your home from new infestations. Because again, those ants that are crawling around in your kitchen, they've been there a while. So they are somewhere. They could be softwood. They could be in your crawl space. They could be in different areas. They've established themselves. You want to prevent other insects from going in, and it'll prevent crickets. You had a cricket driving you crazy, right? You couldn't figure out where it was.
my whole house was infested with crickets.
With crickets,
man.
right? So
when I first bought it,
again, bug blaster above and below. It is also it's a contact as well as a long-lasting systemic. So again, it's one of those things that you do want to use, and you want to do it in tandem with the ant bait inside. So perimeter application of the insect control around the foundation of your house and the ant baits inside. That's what you want to do. And again, it's something to do right now. Do it right now because it will only get worse because they'll be looking for that pheromone trail of the other ants and they'll just follow along. Hey,
Right. Yeah, really.
I don't know. Julio, what are they eating at your house?
I don't know, but the
Rice and beans.
rice and beans, yeah, probably.
Andy.
Yeah. That's
Andy
right.
needs to clean the dishes once in a while.
He does, yeah.
He
I
does?
agree with that.
Oh, go Andy.
Yeah.
Andy is Julio's brother, by the way.
Right.
Just
he eats in the living room too. By the way.
Anyway, so again,
news,
I think
bad
we
news.
all have this problem.
Yeah.
Don't get this confused with those giant black ants. That's another show.
Yeah,
That's another show.
Yeah.
We had them when I had growing up.
Oh my gosh.
They were big. They were like an inch long, and
Yeah, they're nasty.
You step on them, they crunch.
leave stains and everything else. Man. Yeah, I know.
But again, that's another show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ant baits, and again, a perimeter spray, granular application around the foundation of your house. Do it today.
Yep.
That is a non-negotiable. Everybody should be doing that. It's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't say, "Oh, I'll skimp on it," because all of a sudden you're going to have ants like Julio on your computer, and they're crawling on your arms.
Yeah, they are.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomers Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel-Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomers Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomers Blend. Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomers Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomers Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet Mix.
Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
See me and Julio down by the
Me and Julio down at the schoolyard.
Oh, boy.
It's springtime.
It is. We love
It's
it.
great to be out and
yes.
about outside. It's weather looks like it's going to be nice over the next, I guess, 15-day forecast.
yeah.
Anyway, still freezing a little bit at night.
That's all right.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming.
Can I plant?
Yeah, it's coming.
Trees, shrubs, most perennials, yes, you can plant. You know, some vegetables like lettuce and cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Go to town.
Yes, sir.
Go to town.
Yeah.
Over the next few weeks, lots of things going on.
Lots
So
of going
I
on.
know that out there listening, you have questions. Don't be afraid to call because you know
Yes.
why? You get a T-shirt.
Yes, you do.
And we even have the opportunity right now, if you don't have a T-shirt, want a T-shirt, we have caps like the one that I'm wearing or Julio's wearing,
Yeah.
right? We have trucker caps, we have regular caps. So if we use your question on the air, you get a T-shirt or a hat, your choice.
Isn't that great?
All right, we're going to see you next week here in the garden. Thank you. Great job, TJ.
You're TJ.
I appreciate that. Aaron, thank you as always. We'll see you in the garden.
See you in the garden.